The Kenyan press has got a very interesting analysis of the meeting that everybody's talking about. The meeting of Mount Kenya politicians against the BBI, the Building Bridges Initiative, and their focus is on one individual, the CS Agriculture, Mwangi Kiunjuri, who made a brief appearance at that particular press briefing that has sent ripples, political ripples, right across the country. And what they're saying is that Bwana Mwangi Kiunjuri is daring or dying for the president to fire him. Why? For political mileage within Central Province. I'm not sure if we all understand and appreciate the impact of that particular way of looking at things, because it's huge. Let's quickly break it down, because we have a lot to cover in this show today. A cabinet secretary in government is not a small man. This is a man who has official security. All his homes are guarded by the police. And to cut a long story short, they enjoy the trappings of power that cabinet ministers have enjoyed in Kenya since independence. This is not a small man. And many people crave for a cabinet appointment. And so, what these analysts are saying is that Bwana Kiunjuri is ready to sacrifice all that, lose all that, and become just an ordinary Kenyan. Why? For political mileage in Central Province. In other words, Kiunjuri being fired by President Uhuru Kenyatta will make him extremely popular in Central Province. In other words, what they're saying, if I can put it bluntly, is that President Uhuru Kenyatta is not popular in his home turf, in his own home turf of Central Province. What? And this analysis by the press has to be taken seriously. Why? Because they are quoting politicians. And so, the big question now has to be the following. Did Mwangi Kiunjuri consult his boss, the president, before making an appearance at this controversial press briefing? Yes or no? Now, this is politics. You don't take people by their word, anywhere in the world. And so, that question is impossible to answer conclusively. There's no way we can know the truth. Absolutely no way. However, Bwana Kiunjuri himself has a very interesting explanation. He says, as a senior figure in the Mount Kenya region, he was consulted by the politicians. And for the sake of the unity of the region, if we can translate what he was saying is that so that people do not say that this was a Tanga meeting, and to give the impression that this thing is very big, this unity of Mount Kenya leaders, he accepted. Now, there's something else we have to remember here, about Bwana Mwangi Kiunjuri. No other cabinet minister or cabinet secretary still sitting in cabinet has been castigated so many times, even in public, by the president. The only other person who was briefly castigated by the president is no longer in cabinet. You remember Rashid Mohammed Echesa, the former CS Sports? He's out. He was fired. But Mwangi Kiunjuri has received more dressing downs by far, directly from his boss, and is still in cabinet. In other words, if we were to look at this thing logically, you just imagine in your office, the boss has given you a dressing down so many times. What would you do? You would tread very carefully, going forward. And I would imagine that Bwana Kiunjuri is doing precisely that. And therefore, it is a very big thing, if it is indeed true he took a risk and he did not even consult his boss. It is a very huge thing for him to have made an appearance at that presser. You know, you always weigh the risk against what you have to gain. And therefore, whatever Bwana Kiunjuri has to gain is much bigger than his current post as a cabinet secretary. Oh yes, that's what this is telling us. And so the question has to be, what is this thing that is bigger than being CS that Bwana Kiunjuri is gunning for? To me, simply political clout in Central Province is not quite enough. Yeah, it has to be something bigger than that. Otherwise, if that is not the case, then Bwana Kiunjuri consulted his boss, before attending this controversial presser. Now, in the last video, I received quite a number of comments that this particular briefing of the press by Mount Kenya politicians was no big issue. Many said those were Tanga people. And indeed, it is true. There were very many Tanga faces all over the place at that particular press briefing. However, having said that, let us take a different look from a different angle on this controversial presser. Now, let us look at the numbers. Numbers are everything in politics. The person with the most votes wins. If you want to introduce a new law or change the laws of Kenya, if you have quite a number of legislators on your side, you will succeed. Numbers are key. Now, at this particular meeting, the official figure given, of sitting MPs present at that particular press briefing is, wait for this one, 40. Let us look at that figure even more deeply. Now, in Central Province, we have 34 MPs. In the greater Mount Kenya region, add another 40 or so, and we're being generous. And out of those, 40 were present at this press briefing. Bottom line, whichever way you want to look at it, if any BBI initiative goes to the House, which inevitably it has to, it'll have to face, or it'll have to attempt to get the votes of these 40 legislators. And that's not all. They told us that there were quite a number of other members who gave the apology. They were supposed to be at that presser, but they couldn't make it for various reasons, because Parliament was not in session. Folks, if we can put our Tanga and Keleweke emotions aside and analyze this with our brains and our brains alone, this is a press briefing that nobody can afford to ignore. Now, those of us who are taking in this particular video, who are already members of the weekly intelligence briefings, and you have checked your email today, will already have taken in my latest weekly intelligence briefs, number 21. Which I released a short while ago. And if you've already taken it in, you will understand me completely when I tell you that this meeting cannot be ignored. Anybody who is serious about analyzing politics and what may unfold next in Kenyan politics cannot afford to brush aside this particular controversial press briefing. No way. Now, in that particular WIB number 21, I touch on some very strange things that happened, unfolded, highly sensitive, that unfolded during the Jomo Kenyatta administration, during the Moi administration, during the Kibaki administration, that are very similar to this latest shocking development in Kenyan politics. In other words, there's a very clear pattern. And that clear pattern of what has happened in the past tells us what is going to happen here next. And it is just shell-shocking. You know, one of the reasons why I have a thick skin against criticism, is a man called Hezron, who is constantly shooting me down. Not in a bad way, in a friendly way. He wants me to improve. He wants me to get better. He thinks there's a lot of things that I'm doing wrong. And believe it or not, that is very healthy, for anybody who has to make decisions like the ones I make. And that is why I was more than a little surprised when Hezron told me about this latest WIB number 21. He said, and let me just put it in his words, roughly what he said. Chris, hii ni masterpiece. Wewe sijui kila saa unapatia watu vitu ambao wataki. This is exactly what your subscribers are looking for. Kila wakati wanalia. Hata si uliona ile email siku nyingine kutoka huyo jamaa huyo Mwarabu huyo. Si alikwambia hii kitu alijoin hii WIB kwa sababu anataka hii analysis. Na sasa mwisho umeifanya. This is good. I wish ungekuwa ukifanya WIBs kama hii. Wachana na hiyo upuzi yako hiyo ingine. You know, it sounds very harsh against me, but we usually laugh it off. Now, that was his view. I don't know what your view would be if you took it in. I don't know what the view is of those members of WIB who have already taken it in. However, this I can promise you. The contents of this WIB, to me, I'm not talking about you, to me, were the most shocking revelation from Kenyan politics in recent times. For me, it made me look at the whole Central Province politics manenos from a very new angle, a new light. In fact, I've kicked myself why I didn't see this thing earlier. And I want to thank that subscriber who wrote me very many emails insisting that they want an analysis of the Moi presidency, the Kibaki presidency, the Jomo Kenyatta presidency, the 1982 coup and those behind it, etc., etc. Because it is in analyzing those strange things that happened during those administrations that I finally saw the light and understood completely what is currently unfolding on the local political scene. That is confusing to so many people. It is no longer confusing to me, and I'm sure even to WIB members. Now, the good news is that these days we have an offer where you can order only one WIB. I highly recommend, and please comment here after you've taken it in. And if you think it was just hype from Kumekucha, please tell me. I will accept. But I highly recommend that you make sure you take in this particular WIB, number 21. It's only 399 Kenya shillings, or $3.99. Details on your screen right now. Then come back here and comment. Tell us what you think. Of course, if I were you, I would take advantage of the full, very special offer where you can get 1.5 years membership to WIB. 1.5 years. For a fraction of what it would cost you to get only 1 year subscription. You see, I'm sure you can see the details on your screen right now. I would go for that because that offer ends very soon. Anyway, the decision is yours to take. But let me end this show today in the same words I ended that WIB. Number 21. God help Kenya. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.